Ever since the Tang Dynasty, the early Persian and Arab settlers have slowly merged into the social fabric of the Han Chinese society and became residents with their own plots of land and property. The early settlers, besides working in high government posts and the military, were mostly traders and merchants, retailing in exotic goods from the West. There was a distinctive pattern in these new expat settlements where the place of worship, that was the mosque, formed the center of the community where all other retail shops and living quarters would sprawl and grow around it. This then evolved into the famous saying of 7 mosques with 13 streets to describe the Hui Muslim settlements here since the early Qing dynasty. In its olden days, the clusters of settlements would stretch for a distance of more than 1,000 meters, forming an elliptical routing for serenading besides the usual commerce activities. The arrangement was both practical and had its own spiritual meaning, which is still visible in the present day. This is especially so at the North Guangji Street in the midst of the Muslim quarters in XiAn. Established during the Tang Dynasty, North Guangji Street, or Bei Guangji in Mandarin, is now the hub for halal cuisines and eateries. The busy, narrow street is aligned with stores on both sides, where Muslim men wearing white hats sit and talk leisurely with one another in the midst of the endless stream of commuters and tourists in various modes of transportation. The main goods of these stores are authentic handmade Muslim food, while there are also small stores selling special local products of Shanxi province and others that provide exquisite souvenirs. It is stated that once you have been to the Muslim street, you won't feel regret for the snacks of XiAn. One of the most popular snacks here is called Yangrou Paomo, literally crumbled unleavened bread soup in mutton stew. It is made of mutton soup accompanied with a great amount of fat bread known as mo regionally. When making this dish, the cook will break the bread into small pieces and will add them to the mutton soup. However, the locals usually prefer to crumble the bread themselves as they enjoy the fun of crumbling and breaking the bread into fine pieces before soaking them into the hot soup. One legend about its origin is that the first emperor of the Song dynasty, Bei Guangji, discovered that one day he had consumed most of his food and money on the journey back to his hometown. He had only 2 pieces of inedible big hot bread left. Known for his thriftiness, he went through a shop selling mutton soup and broke the bread in pieces and added it to the soup. When he became emperor, he returned to the same shop and asked the cook to make the soup again. After the meal, the emperor could not hide his happiness and named it pita bread soaked in mutton soup. The other famous snack on this street is the steamed stuffed bun of XiAn, filled with hot soup decocted from the bones of sheep or cattle. One has got to be extra careful when eating the bun in order not to get burned while it is steaming hot soup. The Hui Muslims here seem to enjoy the burdensome labor of getting finally to savor a simple snack. There are also fruit pies made with persimmon, which are considered unique refreshment in XiAn. There are also many other snacks to be found along the street, such as dried dates, sweet cakes, and a great variety of naan, and so on. XiAn City is traditionally a marketplace for livestock trading, such as cattle and sheep. These are evident from the old names of the streets, such as West Sheep Market and East Sheep Market. Proximity to these markets has long influenced the culinary skills of the Shanxi chefs who are exploring more cuisines with its readily available items. Mutton was normally eaten during the cool seasons to keep the body warm. However, the ingenuity of these chefs has invented new recipes where mutton dishes were also on the menu during the hot summer days in order to get rid of the heat in the body. One of the unique cuisines here is called shui pen yangrou, a kind of mutton noodle soup which has its origin in the Ming Dynasty. Let's visit one of the restaurant owners here to understand better of the development of the Muslim community here over the years. Lao Bai Chia is a long-renowned mutton noodle shop despite its secluded locality at the other end of the North Guangji Street. The retro deco with nostalgic settings that accentuate its humble beginning reflect its owner's steadfast adherence to the traditions, especially in the way its trademark dish, Shui Pen Yangrou, is being prepared for the steady customers who still prefer to have the breakfast there to kickstart the day. Unlike the more famous Yangrou Paomo, the procedure of preparing this centuries-old dish is much more demanding, and it requires perfect timing and skills. The dish may look simple in preparation, where the mutton meat is being boiled and then cut into palatable portions. It is actually the accompanying soup and garlic that define its exquisite taste and lifelong attraction for the avid customers. The Lao Bai Jia restaurant has been in operation for 4 generations and is now run by Mr. Ersa, who is the 7th of 10 children in the family. It is almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and as usual, the food has been sold out, and Ersa is cleaning up to end another busy day at the restaurant. Ersa lives upstairs of the shop house with his parents who have retired to a life of leisure with access to an open balcony at the top of the building. His father, Mr. Bai, likes to spend his time at the neighborhood mosque besides indulging in life's little pleasures of pet keeping and horticulture. He is also known for his philanthropy among the circles of Hui at the Muslim streets. After a day's work, Ersa is now dressing up at his living quarter in a traditional Hui Muslim wear. He is getting ready to go to the mosque for the afternoon prayer.
我这个假期啊，说真的，假期我把女儿送到清真寺里边学古兰经。说真的，我想将来他的那个宗教意识、宗教那个意念，知道吗？更坚强。这就是我最大的希望，就是他那个也给你最好，这是我最大的希望。这个我女儿上的这个经学啊，就是清真寺，我们这个北广济街清真寺由4管会组成的，有专职的阿訇，给暑假的学生，有小的有真小的，大的有上初中的，都在清真寺那个2楼的教室，有60、70人在那儿学习古兰经，有阿訇教，一周学6次，除了主门那个不学以外，剩下的都学，1个星期都学，是早上9点到中午到11点，挺好的。我觉得这个的确挺好的，能把那个学生的宗教意识能加强，这个的确好。以前啊，我小的时候，知道吗？的确也想学，没那个机会，太穷了，家庭太穷了。我小的时候，11、13岁我就小学毕业有1年我就出去打工，想学个古兰经。说真的，学不上，要养家呢。因为我家的姊妹弟兄多，我年有点长，就必须出去劳动。所以我觉得现在的小孩的确好，的确。我做不到的，我的确，我现在有个小儿子，叫陶飞德，就是那个也给你的意思。我就想，我现在条件也好，说真的，生活各方面都好。长大了，希望他当个阿訇，这就是我的最大的心愿。人生老虎年，我的确想当个阿訇。
Having been through a life of hardship in his youth, Ersa understands the importance of religious education and intends to make up for the missed opportunities to the new generations. However, Ersa also attends the prayers at the mosque every day with his father in order to refresh his religious knowledge. The sense of community is especially strong at the Bei Guangji mosque. Prayer session is slowly being filled up with visitors. Established since the late Ming Dynasty, North Guangji Mosque has nestled itself well within the neighborhood of North Guangji Street. Due to its proximity to the Grand Mosque, It is often named the Small Mosque as the patrons are mostly locals who live around that area. Despite its small size, the mosque is adorned with raised platforms lined with delicately sculpted balustrades and walls with reliefs of Islamic motifs. Almost fully destroyed during the raid by the Japanese bombers during the Second World War, North Guangji Mosque has risen again from the ashes by various restoration and renovation efforts since the early 80s. The ambiance here is solemn with a strong sense of history and tradition. In the holy month, there are many other activities held at this mosque besides the daily prayer sessions. This afternoon, under the usher of eager parents, a pair of young children is getting ready for the Quran reading initiation ceremony. This ceremony is usually done when the kids reach the 4th month of 4 years of age, when they are ready to master the Arabic language for the Islamic lessons. Although they are surrounded by a panel of imams, the two kids feel much at home as they have regularly visited the mosque before. Their parents would also give them Arabic tuitions at home in order to pass the recitation test. Under the guidance of the chief imam, the young children managed to complete the ceremony with ease. After the ceremony, the children are rewarded with Islamic books for their future studies. For the Hui Muslim community, the education of Islamic knowledge starts from a very young age. It is the first step to the continual growth of their culture and tradition here in XiAn. Presently, the old Muslim settlements are being preserved as heritage sites, although a new generation of the Muslim communities has shifted and moved to other places for many reasons. When we come back, we will visit a calligrapher at the old Muslim quarters to see how he preserves the Islamic calligraphic arts, a perfect example of how Islam has merged with the Chinese traditional cultures.